So the great expanse of sea stretched down beneath, and it was such a long way down, miles down. When the seagull used to look down, the baby seagull, he used to feel that he's not going to make it, and maybe he'll fall, perhaps his feathers will break. He had a lot of fear. He felt certain that his wings would never support him. So he bent his head and ran away back to the little hole under the ledge where he slept at night. He ran back to his hole, and he decided that he cannot do it, and he went back to sleep at night. Even when each of his brothers and his little sister, whose wings were far shorter than his own, ran to the brink. If you can look at the pictures, the mum and the three brothers and sisters, they have flown except the seagull baby who's left over. So they would continuously in the morning they would come back and convince him to fly. They were trying to encourage this baby seagull to fly. And in fact, comparing that, his other brothers and sisters had shorter feathers. So ran to the brink, flapped their wings, and flew away. They were trying to show him as in how to fly, and they flew away. Fly past and flew. He failed to muster up courage to take that plunge which appeared to him so desperate. He desperately, I mean, he just failed to do that, and he failed to gain that courage to fly with his brothers and sisters. His father and mother had come around calling to him shrilly. Shrill is a very peculiar voice that just, it almost pierces your ears. A very sharp voice that his parents used to call him, encourage him, to tell him that it's time to go and everyone has to fly and take such a long journey. Upbraiding him. Upbraiding means scolding also sometimes, like how parents do that. Why can't you do it? Look at your other siblings, and in basically they tried to convince this baby seagull in every manner to fly, threatening to let him starve on the ledge unless he flew away. And they were threatening that we are going to leave you and go unless you come with us, you know. But for the life of him, he could not move. But he was so scared. Every individual is different, so he just could not do it. That was 24 hours ago. It has been one day since everyone has left, and they keep on coming back, maybe giving him food, but at the same time, convincing and encouraging him to fly by demonstrating how to fly. Since then, nobody had come near him, and after that, no one came to help him. The day before, all day long, he had watched his parents flying about with his brothers and sister, perfecting them in the art of flight. Now, because now they have learned to fly. Now his parents are teaching his other siblings to fly correctly. To fly. They're teaching them the art of flying. But this poor little seagull, he still has not learned to fly. So, teaching them how to skim the waves and how to dive for fish. And the parents are teaching the seagull how to fly, cut the air and fly. And at the same time, skim means to move lightly just above a surface. Basically, the parents are teaching the other brothers and sister to how to fly right on top of the surface of the sea, so that they can fly and look at the fish. And they're also teaching how to dive, how to jump in the water, take out the fish and fly again. That's an art that only seagulls can do. So, and teaching them how to skim the waves and how to dive for that's what seagulls eat. And he had in fact seen his older brother catch his first herring and devour it. And he also saw, while sitting on the ledge, scaringly, trying to just make up his mind as in how to fly. He saw his elder brother flying, skimming, diving in the water, and taking out his first fish. Herring is a type of a fish, and devouring it, eating it wholeheartedly. And standing on a rock while his parents circled around, raising a proud cackle. And this elder brother was sitting on the rock, and his parents are flying around him and cackling and shouting, appreciating for his first catch. And all the morning, the whole family had walked about on the big plateau midway down the opposite cliff, taunting him with his cowardice. And so this is just it's a cliff. Cliff is a crack in the rocks in the mountains. So all around the Moling, the whole family, his brother, sister, mom, dad, they had walked along on the big plateau. This is a plateau that the seagull is. It's like a table. Plateau is a table sort of a plain rock. Midway down the opposite cliff, and they are on the opposite side of the cliff. A big mountain. There's a crack, and maybe perhaps they're there, and they're taunting, they're criticizing for his cowardice, for having less courage to fly. The sun was now ascending the sky, you know, blazing on the ledge that faced. It's a new day, and the sun is coming up, and it's a very bright and sunny day, and it is coming, and it has fallen on the ledge now. The sun has risen, and that faced the south. He felt the heat because he had not eaten since the previous nightfall. He's a baby. The seagull is a baby, and his parents did not come to give him some fish. So he's feeling weak, and he could feel the heat because there's no energy in his body. He stepped slowly out to the brink of the ledge, and he slowly started coming on the edge of the ledge, and standing on one leg with the other leg hidden under his wing. He's standing on one leg, and one leg is in his wings. He closed one eye. He doesn't have a choice. He has to fly, otherwise he'll die. Then the other, and then pretending to be falling asleep. He pretends to be as if he's asleep. Still, they took no notice of him. He's trying to convince his parents that he's almost dead, that he's starving, but his parents are not looking at him. He saw his two brothers and his sister lying on the plateau, dozing with their heads sunk in their necks. They have hidden their sink past and sunk. They have hidden their heads in their feathers, and they are dozing. They are sleeping soundly. His father was preening the feathers on his white back. Preening means he's trying to groom himself. You must have seen how chicken and hen and other birds, they try to groom. He's digging his feathers just to maintain it. And only his mother was looking at it. Mother is a mother. So only the mother is looking at this baby seagull. Nobody is interested. She was standing on a little high hump on the plateau. She's standing on an elevated area. Hump is usually something which is higher than the normal surface. Her white breast thrust forward, and she's showing her chest, to her white chest to her baby. Now and again she tore at a piece of fish that lay at her feet, and she's eating. She's tear past and store. She's cutting a piece of fish from with her beak, and she's showing it to her baby, and then scraped each side of her beak on the rock, and then she's trying to clean her beak on the rock. And the sight of the food maddened him. And when he saw his mother tearing all those pieces of fish, he became crazy. He's so hungry, and he just could not control it. How he loved to tear food that way, and he's imagining how he loved to cut and tear his fish in that way. That is what his mother is showing. If you want to eat, you have to come. Scraping his beak now again to wet it. Wet means to sharpen it, And in the same way, like his mother is cleaning and sharpening her beak, the baby also used to love to do that. Ga, 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 he cried, begging her to bring him some food. And the baby seagull is crying and telling her, Mom, please bring me some food. Ga, cola, she screamed back derisively. That means in a manner showing someone I'm not stupid to come there. You have to come to eat there, as if she's saying. Or so she uttered a joyful scream. But he kept calling plaintively, and after a minute or so he uttered a joyful scream. Suddenly he screamed after that. His mother had picked up a piece of the fish and was flying across with it. The mother was coming with a big piece of fish towards the baby seagull. He leaned out eagerly, and he started coming forward while he's on the edge of the plateau. tapping the rock with his feet, and he's tapping his feet. He's very happy to see his mother coming, trying to get nearer to her as she flew across. And he's trying to get as near as possible so that he can take the piece of fish from his mom. But when she was just opposite to him, she's the mother seagull, she's just near the baby seagull, but she has not come. She's flying in the air. She halted. She's flying in the air. She has just come near the baby, and she's flying. She stopped. Her wings motionless. She's not flying. The piece of fish in her beak almost within the reach of his beak. So this is the baby seagull, and this is the mom, and they have almost reached, but the baby cannot reach the fish, and the piece of fish in her beak almost within reach of his beak. He waited a moment in surprise. He was surprised. What is my mother doing? Why isn't she feeding me? Wondering why she did not come nearer. Why isn't she coming and why isn't she coming and giving me the food? And then maddened by anger, and he's so mad, because he's hungry. He dived at the fish. He jumped at the fish. Something that he could not do for a very, very long time since past 2 days. He did that. He jumped at the fish. With a loud scream, he fell outwards and downwards into space. And there the baby seagull is flying in the air. And he's flying down. Then a monstrous terror seized him. And suddenly, he became very afraid. There was a fear. And his heart stood still. That means it's a figure of speech. That means he became very afraid, motionless. He could hear nothing. He could not hear. Perhaps that is because of the air pressure. But it only lasted a minute. And after it just lasted a minute, the next moment he felt his wings spread outwards. It's a God-gifted feature. Birds can do it, because God created them like that. Suddenly he could see that his feathers have stretched outwards naturally. And the next moment he felt his wings spread outwards. The wind rushed against his breast feathers, and then under his stomach, and against his wings. He's flying, so he can feel the pressure of the air on his body, on his wings. He could feel the tips of his wings cutting through the air. The strong wind he's piercing the air, the wind, and he can feel it through his feathers. He was not falling headlong now. He's not falling down. He's flying in the air. He's balancing with his feathers. He's doing what a seagull is supposed to do. He was soaring gradually downwards, and then he's going down and outwards. He's falling down, and he's flying, but he was no longer afraid. So that is the moment. The sight of the fish in his mother's mouth made him so mad that he finally dived. He jumped, and he learned to fly, and he was no longer afraid. He felt a bit dizzy. Dizzy means, it says, an uncomfortable feeling of spinning. He feeling a little hazy, He feels as if he cannot control his senses. But then he flapped his fingers once, and he soared, and he started singing. And then his mother is calling, ga, ga, ga. His mother swooped past him. Yeah, his mother came, and she's encouraging. Her wings making a loud noise, and the mother is very, very happy. She's flapping her feathers and her wings so loudly. He answered her with another scream, and he answered his mom with another scream. Then his father flew over him screaming. Everyone is so happy, and then they're appreciating, and they're clapping with their feathers. They're flapping their feathers. He saw his two brothers and his sister flying around him, curveting. That means leaping. They are overtaking him, and banking and soaring, and they are doing all these different kind of styles. They're flying, and they're coming down, and they're going up, and they're spinning in the air, showing their happiness that their little baby brother has also succeeded in flying, in banking and soaring and diving. So this is what we'll do till for today, and then I'll see you guys in the next video. Thank you.